Hey, Mike, what do Kelly Slater and PT have in common?
I don't know. They're both world champs?
Nope, they both own Endless Summer box set.
Oh my God, rad. You guys, you can get it too. The link's in the show notes.
Foot out, choke food. 100 racks on a surf, dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out.
Hey everybody, welcome to the QuiverCast, where we chat with surfers from all around the world, from all walks of life, and we get their story. Find us at www.thequivercast.com. I am Mike, your host. Let's get into the show. Hello, everybody. This is Mike here with the QuiverCast, and we got a super rad guest all the way from Western Australia, Mr. Jake Paterson. How you doing, Jake?
I'm good, Mike. How's yourself, mate?
I'm good. Early in the morning for me, late at night for you.
Yep. Time difference is a killer for most of us.
So actually, let's start with today. What do you got going on today in your life? And then we'll talk about the coaching, and we'll go backwards. How's that? We'll go today to backwards.
Yeah, no worries. Today I was in the office all day. I run a sunscreen business today called We Are Feel Good Inc. I'm a part owner of that business, and it's going really, really well. I'm hoping to be out in America one of these days soon, but it's going really well in Australia, and we're out in Bali and Thailand, and we just started in Europe. Yeah. So We Are Feel Good Inc. sunscreen. Check it out.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And you are not in the United States yet then, huh? Working that
No, yeah. Well, it's a sleeping elephant, mate. You got to be careful what you want to wake up. So, we're not quite ready we want to build a big brand in Australia before we take on the US because, it's a big old place you guys got to have there.
But you guys are all in the sun. You're all around the whole continent.
Oh, yeah. You got to have sunscreen in Australia. I tell you that much.
100%. The first question that comes to mind is, all your life, you've kind of been active. You surfed, then you coached, all around surfing. How is it having a desk job? And is it a 100% desk job?
It's a 100% desk job. It's gnarly. It's definitely an eye-opener. It's like, I've kind of like lived the gravy train, I would pretty much say. Like, the early days before I was a professional surfer, I worked really hard to become a professional surfer. It's like I didn't really have the talent to be like the Taj Burrows or the Andy Irons. So like I wasn't that guy that was picked to be, this professional surfer who's going to make a career out of surfing. I was the battler kind of thing, the hard-working kind of guy that kind of forced my way to be a professional surfer. Had to use my smarts and my fitness to survive kind of thing. So, I wasn't the most talented guys, but I kept all the top guys honest along the way, I would say.
Do you enjoy sitting behind a desk, or do you miss being outdoors?
Fuck no. Sitting behind a desk sucks. No, I had the best. Being a professional surfer was the best job in the world, and also coaching was really rewarding because what do they say in life? Find something that you love to do, and you won't work a day in your life, kind of thing. So, professional surfing, I had a pretty lucky. I forged a career out of that, and then coaching was the next best thing because I was creating these dreams for these kids that maybe. I don't know if they never thought possible, but I could see the talent, and with a little bit of my help, I could mold them to create their dreams. So it was so rewarding for me to see these kids. Like, I was working with Kanoa and Griffin and the younger guys, when they were, 13, 14, Leo, when he was 11 and 12 years old, they were staying in my villa in Bali, and I was molding them from such a young age that. Because I'd made all the mistakes on professional surfing, and these guys are competitive animals. Don't get me wrong. Like, they were probably going to make it anyway. I have no doubt they were going to, but I just streamlined their success rate, I would think.
You're not coaching anymore due to COVID. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, COVID hit. When COVID hit, we were in Manly. I had Zeke, Ethan Ewing, Griffin all in this unit in Manly. Crosby, Colapinto. I had this whole room of kids, and then COVID hit. New Zealand. We were booked to go out to New Zealand that next night, and that got cancelled because of COVID. And I just went, you guys. They don't watch the news. I was watching the news from Japan, like luxury liners, 360 people all getting sick, and like the whole world was, slowly shutting down. And I was going, you guys go home, ring your sponsors, tell them you'll do anything in the next couple of weeks because there's nothing to do, and make sure you're going to have a sponsor by the end of this thing, because I didn't know how long it was going to last, but I knew that there was not going to be any events for a long while because travel was going to be really hard, and so be it. Like, I only get paid when the events are on because that's how it was, and then that was it. Like, all that year and the next year there was no tour, so there goes my job as a coach, just gone. So I was lucky enough to be part owner of the sunscreen business, so I went and I'm running that still. So it worked out. Okay, so good.
The company was already existing at that point.
Yeah. We're 7 years in
cool.
in the business. So I was running it anyway, but I was running it from the road, on the road, which was really, really tough as it was. So it was actually a blessing for the company and a blessing for my family also, because I'd been on the road for 30 years. So it was nice to spend like a winter and a summer and every other season at home for a change. It was nice.
Okay, so then nice. Now you do have a desk job, which does kind of suck, I guess, right? But you're home with the family, so there's that. That's got to be pretty nice, because traveling's got to be brutal.
Oh, it's brutal, but it's rewarding. But my golf handicap's dropped down to 6, so I've got a good amount of time to play 2 comp games a week at home, and there's benefits and to being at home, but I live in one of the best places in the world. Like, the southwest of Western Australia is, I've been everywhere around the world surf-wise and everything, and this is a special spot in the world for sure. And, I'm pretty fortunate to be able to, hang my hat to say this is home. So, I'm loving being home, but, I'd love a little trip every now and again. I turn 50 next January, so I plan to go back to Hawaii and watch pipe and have a couple of games of a couple of rounds of golf at the Palmer and see my good friends at Lele's restaurant down there at Turtle Bay. Yeah.
Okay.
Uncle Ian there looks after us really well, so I got to go say hi for my 50th.
You brought up Hawaii. When's the last time you were there? And so I saw, I don't know what year, 2000, late 2000s, when you're charging huge Haleiwa during the event. Probably Triple Crown. And you do you miss Hawaii and the waves like that are just so
100%. Like, that's Hawaii is so similar to the southwest of Western Australia. Like, just even 2 days ago, I was riding a 7-foot board at one of the bombies off the Cape here. So we ride big boards all the time, kind of thing. It's not like the east coast of Australia. They ride a big board like maybe once a year. We can ride one every second week if we want. It depends where you want to surf. So Hawaii was just like it's like going to where I felt more comfortable, especially competing. Just some of the events I won at Sunset. There was a 3-year stint there that me and Andy had this battle going on. I won Sunset, he won it the year after, and then I won it the year after, and then he got second to me. He won the year in the middle, and then he got second again. So it was just crazy that, like, Sunset, when I paddled out Sunset, I feel like those guys had to, my confidence level out there was so high that, surfing against Kelly or Andy or anything, I was going, those guys got to beat me. But, like, every other spot around the world in Australia, like in the world, it was like, I've got to really be smart and focus on my strategies and everything. My surfing's got to shine at the right times to win heats and so on and so forth. And I always felt like the underdog, but in Hawaii, I always felt like I had a really good chance of beating the best. So, I loved Hawaii, and the golf's amazing, the food's amazing, the people are amazing. I loved it. 6 weeks on a beach at a sponsored house. Are you kidding me? It's the best shit in the world.
Okay. What's your favorite wave in Hawaii? You sound like Sunset's up there. Or you're comfortable for sure in Sunset,
Yeah,
which
Sunset
is
and
a lot of
Haleiwa.
water. Haleiwa?
Oh, it's just Sunset. Sunset is just it's like really suits my style. 2 feet, I've got this really unique style of 2 feet on the tail pads. All my friends used to say because I've got a really narrow stance, but I can throw around a bigger board really easy. So it really helps at Sunset because it's a wave catching contest. You need to ride big equipment, and some guys can't turn a 7-foot board really easy, but I can turn it like a short board pretty much. So. It suited my style, but Haleiwa is just a high performance, you can ride a big board out there and even if it's overhead high, you still ride a bigger board and you can really big turns and, I just love that wave. It's just, and to have it surf it in heats is so fun.
How big is it when Haleiwa is too big? Does it ever get too big? Because it gets crazy out there.
Oh, it's
crazy.
Not many people in the world would think that Haleiwa is the heaviest wave in the world, but I remember this heat that we had when I think Sonny was trying to call the contest off and Randy was going, no, you guys are out there. It was huge. It was so scary. I was calling 20 foot. It was like avalanche was coming over. It was like almost reforming from avalanche, like coming over from the left there. And I saw this one wave paddling out of heat. I just went, if you caught on this thing, you were dead. It was 20 foot and we're way out the back and it sucked so much water off the reef. It was like 1 foot deep all the way out the back of Haleiwa and it was barreling, chewing on itself. I was just going, oh my God. And my worst wipeout ever has been at Haleiwa. So it's relentless because if you wipe out at Haleiwa, it doesn't push you in. It sucks you back out to the back into the impact zone. And then you just keep on getting this bad wipeout until you can get your board and if you break your board, you're in big trouble because you get sucked out to sea or into the boating harbour. It's like so heavy, but it's at the right conditions, it's the best wave I reckon in Hawaii.
Wow, the way you describe it, it's pretty good description. I mean, I wouldn't even fathom going out when it's that big. So how many guys in the world?
Just the water movement because of
there's so much water.
Yeah,
a lot of water. Yeah, okay.
It's a big rip bowl. It's a big scary rip bowl when it's big. I tell you.
Did you ever lose your board or anything out there? A leash break or?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I've been like almost having to be saved. Just got inside the wall at like the harbour at Haleiwa, like just scraped into the climbing up the rocks because my leg rope's broken or whatever, and it's just heavy. It's just like when it's over 10 foot, the water rushing in, like it sucks you deeper and over towards the boat harbour, and if you're not fit enough and it's scary. And the lifeguards out there, lucky there's lifeguards, I'd tell you that much.
Oh my God.
And they're the best in the world. So everyone that's, pretty lucky in Hawaii because, at Pipe and Haleiwa, Rocky Point, they've all Sunset, they've all got these amazing lifeguards that, are second to none in the world.
So you've done well at Pipe also though, too. And that's
I won Pipe in 98, had beat Kelly in the semi and Bruce in the final. It was, history, state, 10 seconds changed my whole life. You know what I mean? I won I was in the barrel and the hooter went on the final to beat Bruce. It was just unbelievable. It was a crazy event. I mean, going back from the start of the event, it was probably 20 foot for the opening round. It was so Mick Campbell and Danny Wills and Kelly were and Shane Beshan had an outside chance at the world title, but it was the three main guys, Danny Wills, Mick Campbell and Kelly for a world title. It was the defending champion and me and Mick Campbell in the opening round and third losers like back in those days. So 3-man heat, thirds out, and it was 20 foot and washing through from third reef kind of thing. No one really got barreled that day. It was like all about survival. Riding a 7-4 JC board that I borrowed off my brother because I didn't have a big enough board. It was crazy. And I ended up winning. Mick Campbell got second and Johnny Boy got third.
Oh.
Didn't come in, didn't return his rash. He came in at Beach Park, walked up with his tail between his legs, and I don't think we ever saw him again. It was like George Foreman against bloody Muhammad Ali, that kind of scenario. It was like he was out of there, just never to be seen again. It was pretty embarrassing, I think, for him being beaten by these two young Australian kids at 20-foot pipe. You get what I mean? And being defending champion. So,
Yep.
That gave me a bit of confidence for the rest of the event. And then the next couple of days was just flawless pipe. It was just unbelievable. And the final day started at like 10 foot, getting smaller all day, and then backdoor started turning on, and everything just happened. Like everything, I was just going, I just want to surf backdoor again. And, before I know, I was in the semis against Kelly, and, he needed a tiny score. It was best three back in those days as well, mind you. Best three waves. So it was pretty hard. And then I got this great little story for you. Paddling out for the final against Bruce. It was an expressing session before with Jerry Lopez and Christian Fletcher. They're all paddling out of the lineup where me and Bruce paddling in. And Christian Fletcher yells out to me, "You've lost and you don't even know it yet." I went, whoa, what was that? He goes, "Oh, you've lost and you don't even know it yet." And I went, "Whoa, fuck. As long as I have fun, I don't really care." And Jerry looks over to me and goes, "Yeah, brah, that's the way," like that. Gave me the full shocker and said, "Yeah, brah." So thanks, Christian. You probably made me win pipe, mate.
Were you friends with Christian, or was he like an enemy?
No, he wasn't. I didn't
Just
really know him. Like,
wrestling around him.
24-year-old punk from Australia. Just like he didn't even know who I was. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like just this kid on tour against Bruce Irons. This wonder kid from Kauai that's just barrel maestro. Then was wiping the floor with everyone through the whole event. And then I didn't care. I was just going, holy shit! I'm in the pipe final. I just beaten Kelly. I'm just laughing, just going, are you kidding me? What this is the shit dreams are made of.
Yeah. So how did that feel?
It was unbelievable. It was surreal. It was like unbelievable. Like, the final went back and forth, time and time. Bruce had priority at the end with about a minute and a half to go. He needed like a 7.5, got this sick little backdoor one, got a 7.0. I needed like an 8 to win, like something like that. And then, the whole ocean looked dead flat. There was like, they were counting down 30 seconds, and I'm going, oh, shit, head down, just going, fuck, it was a good event. Like, I'm pretty stoked or whatever. Yeah. All the crowd was paddling out from the lineup. Someone yelled out the back. And I'd like put my head up and went, oh, shit, is there a lump? And this one wave comes in. There's like 10 seconds to go. I'm kicking into it. I'm going, couldn't go left because all the crowd was paddling into the left. Like, it was like crazy. Paddle into this, like, I'm on a 7'4" surfboard. The wave's like 6 foot. And I just pull into this closeout that looked like a dead set closeout. I pull in on a 7'4", 6 foot wave, just going, oh my God, my board's too big. Not going to fit in it. Did a couple of huge big pumps in this closeout. And then it just goes all foamy, and there's a little window that I just doggy-doored out, and it just let me out, and then the hands go up, and I got a 9.6 or something. It was like, yeah, eat that, Bruce.
Yes. Dude, that's so awesome. And do you think you did so well because you're having just a good time? Because it sounds like you were having a ball. Like you were enjoying the event and just going with it. That's how it sounds to me.
Oh, yeah. It was surreal because it was like I was surfing. My grandfather passed away in that event, and I didn't really get to see him. We're in Hawaii for so long, and he had an operation and didn't come out of the operation because he was 86 or something. So but like I was kind of like going. I was kind of thinking about him the whole time. So it's so unbelievable when you're not so selfish about competing for yourself for your result and you whatever, and you all of a sudden just going thinking about something else, and and things just happen. Like I wish I could have found that a little bit more in my career because I could have been way more successful. But it's hard to find that mindset because you get what I mean. It's such a selfish sport that you're all about me, I, and if you can break it down to putting in your best performance without any expectations or any the fear of losing, I guess, because you're out there just doing what you love and you're feeling that you're lucky to be there anyway. Not, you know, the life expectations overwhelm you, so you're not so selfish. It's hard to explain, but
yes, no, it makes sense.
That's what happened. That's what happened. Like I wasn't competing for myself to earn points or prize money or anything. I was out there, you know, my grandfather passed away. It was kind of like a really heavy time, and I was going, well, I'm so lucky to be doing what I love and blah, blah, blah. And it all worked out. Like, you know, he sent me this wave with 10 seconds to go by, I guess.
Yeah, that's so rad. So
look up the footage. It's epic.
No, yeah. I've seen a lot. I mean, and well, let's talk about Snake Tails a little bit. How did that idea come up? And then when you redid it later, like up till a couple years ago, what inspired you to do it?
I mean, back when I was a kid, I was watching Sarge's scrapbook videos from when he was on tour doing the behind the scenes stuff, and and then my inspiration was getting the guys on the QS to qualify for the tour, because I think that's the most rewarding thing for myself, because I think that's where my coaching talent lies, with the guys that have all the talent but they don't know how to use it. It's pretty easy to coach a guy on tour to not to win a world title, but to survive on tour, because they've already made it, if you get what I mean. But to transform that kid, like for instance Griffin Colapinto, you know, he's good friends with Kanoa and all the guys I was coaching with on the Quickie team, because I originally started with the Quickie team, and then you know, developed into going off by myself. But and he was going, I so want on, you know, I want on Snaketails, like it's, you know, I think I need it, you know, and I sit there and watch this kid, all the talent in the world, losing round one here, all these events, just going, you sure do need Snaketails. And that's how the relationship started, you know. Like I think Quicksilver wanted to sponsor Griffin at the time before the companies merged and so on and so forth, and so I was allowed to coach him, and we formed this unbelievable relationship. And you know, we called him the sponge, because you know, everything I said, he was just absorbing, you know, like he just loved it. And he goes, I'll cut off my left leg to qualify. I'll do whatever it takes. And I was going, just listen to me, mate. I'll make you a rock star. Just, you know, you know, we got to go back to basics, you know, like you can't just think you're going to be winning world titles from the QS, because it's a stage, you know, you got to almost go backwards to go forwards. It's hard to explain again, but you know, my coaching techniques and my drills that I set all these kids is to get to the tour, and then you can expand onto the way you want to surf your heats. But you can't just go trying to air every wave in the QS, because it just doesn't make sense. Like, you know what I mean? You need to survive. You know, you've got so many heats. It's like it's a numbers game. You just got to crunch the numbers and go, you know, it's like grind, and then, you know, get to the tour, and then you can do an air every wave. Who gives a shit? You've made it.
You made it, but you got to stay on now. But that's
point. And that's what I tell all my guys once they made it. I said, you got to do both tours the first year, because you know, you think you're this rock star kid that made the tour, no worries, but the first year's your hardest. Because you've got all these expectations, and you're starting as a low seed, and you've got to surf against all the top guys, and you get your ass handed to you, because they've been on forever. They know these little punks, they come and go. But so I just say, back yourself up. I said, your first year's a learning experience for all these new spots you haven't been to around the world, and you know, your boards, everything. I'm going to help you, but you know, you got to back yourself up. You don't want to drop off first year. So anyway, getting back to Snaketails, how that all started. I just was filming. I film all the free surfs. I film all the heats. So I just started filming with my iPhone for all the backstage stuff, and I just went going. It's what people want to see. The grommets, from when I was a grommet, for what I wanted to see. I didn't care about the big production videos of the tour, because that's not the real shit. You know, you want to see the behind the scenes of the grind of what they go through. And it's like I try and make the atmosphere as fun as we possibly can make it, so they're enjoying themselves. And if you're enjoying yourself, you compete better and your mindset's better and blah, blah, blah. If you're there, you know, having a hard time and you're missing home or whatever, like you kind of like, you can't put your best foot forward in your performance. So I just try to put these fun little videos together and try to give these guys a personality. So it's good for them. It's good for their sponsors. It's good for the general public to know, like, who knew Ramsey Bookerham was the funniest guy in the world, you know? It's like, you know what I mean? He's the most quiet guy ever. But, like, when I've got my iPhone out, he's like, you know, he knows me really well. So he comes out of his shell. And, you know, he is the funniest guy in the world. And with Griff, you know, egging him on to do all the stupid shit, it's like, you know, we had a great time. So I really do miss it. I mean, that's my. I hopefully maybe I could go back to it. One of these Challenger series. There's only 7 events. You know, bring back snake tails, and it'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, no. So I watched several, and I watched them over a period of time, and you got a lot of viewers too. I mean, by the way, a lot of people watch that.
I know these guys people are making money out of that. How did I not catch on to that? I mean, isn't that how all those guys make their money? All those Hawaiian guys that do all their YouTube videos,
like Jamie O'Brien and stuff.
Jamie O'Brien and I don't know.
Ben Grady's doing pretty good.
Don't YouTube pay money for like a lot of views these days? I don't know.
I'm the wrong guy to ask.
I never made any money out of snake tails, so I'll put that on the record.
Oh wow! But it was entertaining. It was behind the scenes.
The Surfer Pole Awards. I never even got a nomination. Snake tails. I was so disappointed. I just figured like it was like such a. It's a grommets thing. You get what I mean? Like no one was doing stuff like that, and it was like it was real. It was 100% real. For it. It was raw and real, and I had to edit a lot of the swearing and stuff out because I didn't want to make. I wanted to make it PG, so parents weren't going, "Oh, I don't want you watching that." I wanted to make it so it was like, you know, so grommets could go, "Oh, that's amazing," you know, instead of going.
It was real life without the cussing.
Yeah, I mean there was a lot of cussing and stuff in it, but I tried to minimize it to the max anyway. But and the guys never wanted to be cussing in the videos either. It's just if I caught that moment, I kind of like, you know. But anyway, it's hard to film all 24/7. But I swear I missed all the good bits. I swear to God, if I had it rolling 24/7, holy shit, those things would have been Hollywood style. It would have been the best reality shit ever. But it's just hard to do.
Yeah, because it is like reality, but like in true life reality. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but it's guys' lives at stake. You know what I mean? It's guys' lives at stake. Their livelihoods. This is what you know. The ups and downs of the QS is so gnarly. You know what I mean? There's one winner every week. You're going week in, week out.
Yep.
And the points are so high. They're not making much money. You know, the winner's making money, but you know, all these guys are traveling. You know, I coach like 6 to 8 guys at a time. So there's only one guy that normally does okay. Mm-hmm. And then all the other guys are groveling money-wise. It's like, it's pretty gnarly.
I got a lot of questions about that. So you have a house full. I watched the one you're talking about too, where they canceled the tour. You have like, you know, Zeke and all those guys, 5 or 6 kids in there, right? Basically.
Yeah, in Manly.
Yeah, in Manly. How does that, when one does one doesn't do so well, or they're even in the same heats, how does that translate, come back to the condo or wherever you're staying?
Oh,
I mean, it's part of the game. They know what they're in for.
It's hard for me because like I've got to coach one of my guys to beat the other guy, and then I've got to coach the other guy to do the other guy. But we do so many mock heats, so I basically just say, you know what he's going to do. This is his strengths. I'm going to coach him to serve to his strengths. This is, you've got to use your priority really smart kind of thing. But, you know, the best thing ever is like, you know, one year I had Griffin and Kanoa in the final of the US Open. Both guys, you know, beat, you know, that's the ultimate when you got 2 guys in the final that you've coached to get to the pinnacle of the event. Yeah. And then I just, you know, you just say, take the gloves off, boys. Let's just go. One for one. You know each other's surfing better than anyone else. I don't need it. I can't tell you anything more to do. You're at the final. Don't leave anything out there. Bang. Yeah. It's the best shit ever. That's what I live for. That shit.
So does that inspire you to keep, well, now that you're not coaching and you miss it, do you lack the inspiration of competitive surfing? I mean, watching it, or how do you feel about competitive surfing today?
Oh, I love it.
You've been
I
so
love it.
involved in it for so years.
I watch it all. I send them all messages. I
Okay.
still coach Zeke from the side, from home.
Yeah.
I give him tips, and I'll coach whoever wants to listen. No, not. I just, it's in my blood. You get what I mean? That's what I do. It's like that's how I made my living. It's like I was never the free surfing guy. No one wanted to watch a movie of me surfing. It was like all about winning heats. It's a numbers game for me. It was like winning heats and surviving as I finished 5th in the world twice. It was like how did my ability get to 5th in the world? It's like hard work, and that's what I tell all my guys. I don't care how much talent you got. Put in the hard work, you can achieve whatever you want to. I'm the best example you could ever ask for. You guys have got more talent in your left pinky than I have in my whole body. It's like, all you got to do, trust yourself and enjoy it, and put in the hard work, and you'll achieve your dreams. And a lot of look at the guys where they are now. Kanoa's top 5. Griffin missed by a B stick to won 2 events this year. It's all coming out. It's Zeke won the US Open this year. It's like I'm so proud. I coached Ethan for a little bit. He won J-Bay this year. It's just sick. I love. See, this is what I love. These kids developing and using their talent to achieve their goals. It's sick.
Speaking of Zeke, when he was on the Ultimate Surfer, first off, did you watch that? And secondly, were you coaching him at that point when he was on that show, or was he not allowed to talk to you?
I think I was coaching him, and no, I didn't watch the show. It looked really corny and shit, to be honest. But it worked out for him. Obviously, he won a shitload of money and got a spot on tour that he didn't need anyway because he qualified.
Yeah, he didn't need it. Yeah.
But, I watched the shorts because we didn't get it in Australia, I don't think.
Oh, you didn't?
It was paid. I think it was on pay TV maybe or whatever, but I don't know. I never watched it. I never watched an episode, unfortunately, but I saw all the highlights and stuff, and it looked pretty gnarly. Like I mean, I've watched a lot. I've watched the Apple TV of Make or Break, and I reckon that's unbelievably put together. Like that actually portrays professional surfing really well. But I shouldn't really comment on that because I didn't really watch it, but it looked really corny to me. But did you watch it, Mike? I mean, what's your opinion?
I did watch it. It was my opinion is it was super corny, but it was entertaining for me at least. I mean, I know.
Yeah, but that's what it looked like. They hyped it up to make it look like it was entertaining because there was so much at stake. There was it was a build up to thing, but it's just I don't know. It wasn't. I think it didn't look real.
It wasn't real.
I mean?
It wasn't
like the
real,
make or break shit is real. Like it's
real.
Like
legit.
People jumping on surfboards and punching surfboards it's real shit. It's like what I mean. It's really well put together. I think so. If you want a real aspect of professional surfing from the outside in, it's like I reckon that's a good watch.
I think the Ultimate Surfer was the sell to Middle America. Really?
Yeah. Well,
I'm trying to get, but I don't know if it worked. I don't know.
We'll see if there's a series 2, eh?
I don't think there is, but I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. Okay, so you were talking about you becoming a competitive surfer. You're all about the points. How did that all start? At what point did you say, I'm going to turn pro?
Oh,
was it when you learned how to surf when you were a kid? Or at what point?
No way. I was, I gave up. I came through Western Australia as like the top junior surfer kind of thing. I was kind of good for my age and so on and so forth. I had this one guy, Jock Campbell, came and kind of managed me for free. Just went, I think you've got the talent to make it. And I went, oh, really? And so I went off on tour when I was 17 years old before the QS started. So this is way back, like where you surfed the tour events and you surfed in the trials, you made the main event kind of thing. Yeah. So I chucked off to all these tour events, got my ass handed to me, just went, I'm tripping. I'm nowhere near this. Like, I'm not even in the same league. I went, oh, this is heavy. I'm going back to get a job kind of thing. And then I came back to Margaret's for my home event kind of thing, and I up making the semi-final of the trials, I made the main event. Obviously, I got ninth in the event. So
that's
I
pretty
beat
good.
the bottom. I beat the bottom 16. I beat Dave McCauley, the defending champion at Margaret's Major. I lost to Glenn Winton when it was 20-foot Margaret's. He was riding an 8-foot board. I was 17 years old, just shit myself, just got smoked. And then that kind of gave me the confidence to go, maybe this is, maybe I do have a chance or whatever. And then I was so lucky that Australia just cranked up the Australian circuit. It was called the ACC back in the day.
Okay.
So there was a junior tour and an open tour. And the first year I just went, okay, I'll go back onto that tour to get a bit more confidence, and I ended up smashing the junior tour. I won 4 out of 6 events. And then I got second in the open to my good mate Richard Lovett that year. Yeah. And then the next year I did it again, and I got second in the opens again to Grant Frost. But that gave me a seed in all the QS events in Australia. So a seed into the third round of the QS, which is a huge advantage. And then after leaving Australia, I pretty much qualified because I'd won the Kira event. I got to the semi-finals at Margaret's, which was a 5-star event, which was huge back in the day. I got semi-finals in Newcastle, which was a 5-star event. So I was leading the QS ratings. I was like going into, out of the Australian leg. So I was like going, holy shit, I could qualify. And so I did qualify that year. And then, the rest is history. 11-year tour career, won 4 CTs and won the QS twice. Yeah. QS tour, I mean. I was coming 5th in the world and still doing the QS because I was so shit myself about dropping off tour. I was like going, I'm not going to, stuff this up no matter what. So, I just was that numbers guy and just did it as a job, trained really hard, tried to be the fittest on tour and, just grinded.
What, in your head, why did you work so hard? Just because it was a dream or was it you worked hard because you had goals?
I worked hard because I was sitting around at home, not thinking I could do it, and the owner of Creatures of Leisure, John Malloy, he gave me the biggest kick in the ass and hired he was my sponsor from Creatures of Leisure from from Western Australia. It's same hometown. I grew up. I was tying leg ropes and sewing board bags for them to earn money to travel. That's how gnarly it was, back in the day. And then, he was going, if you're going to make a go of this, I'm going to hire you a personal trainer. I was driving to Perth 2 times a week just to do a 2-hour training session and then driving home. So a 3-hour session to go train for 2 hours, drive home for 3 hours. So, that's how committed I was 2 times a week. And he was the one that set all that up and just goes, this is what you need to do to, I was training with this SS Marine bloody drill sergeant guy that just didn't know anything about pro surfing, but he was going, it taught me about mindsets and just grinding and just power and just, just this mission of being fit to overpower you, don't show them any weaknesses no matter what, all that kind of stuff, control everything you can control, your equipment, everything that you can control and leave it up to Mother Nature to deliver you your performance wave and put your best foot forward and make everyone on it, make them earn the win. That's what I try and teach my guys is make them earn a win. Don't just, be nervous and do everything. I always felt like I was trying to make all the top guys earn their win. If they weren't at their top of their game or whatever, the most talented guys in the world. Andy Mean and him had the best battles ever. But if he was off that day, I'd get him. You know what I mean? Kept them all honest.
Yeah, that was one of my questions. Is in heats, you never gave anybody an inch. You were on them. No,
that's it. I was brutal. I hassled. I had to. That was my game plan. You get what I mean? I was before priority in those 3-man heats and stuff. I was the guy that was, taking the inside every time, and I was. That's what I had to do to survive. And you see it with the Brazilians and stuff. guys were like eggy at Gabriel Medina when he came on tour because he was so competitive, and he was going, "I'm not here to make friends."
No, yeah, I get it.
He's going, "I'm here to win a world title. Like, you want to give me an inch, I'm going to take that mile." And like, I thought it was refreshing, like, because everyone became too buddy for me on tour. Like, I love the Andy Kelly relationship. That fighting.
Yes.
That's what brought the sport. That could have driven the sport to. I hated the fly in the champagne when they went on a trip. Like, I was going, I want the hate. I want Andy screwing up Kelly's picture and throwing it against the wall. Just going, that's what drives me. That's what brings people to watch the sport. You get what I mean? They want to see these two guys get to the final, and there's no love. There's just hate.
Okay.
You think bloody heavyweight fighters like have a little boxing trip before they have a battle?
Exactly. Okay. So, yeah, I've talked to a lot of former pros, like 80s guys, and and same thing. They said the rivalries were real. They were real. They were on the beach. They were pissed at each other.
When I was a kid, I watched Potts and Gurr go 50 cuts in a heat. They were stabbing each other's board in a heat in Japan. And I was going, what the I'm 70 years old just going, this is pro surfing. Just going, wow. They were enemies. There was not shaking hands and shit. It was like, fuck you and fuck you too. Like, that's professional sport. Look at professional tennis players. They don't travel together. They got I know the money's probably different and the level is all different like that, but they're all like going, I don't want to beat that guy. I don't want to be his mate.
In today's climate, do you think that'll ever happen again?
Nah.
Never?
There's rivalries for sure, but everyone's too buddy. Yeah, for sure. Back in there was not too long ago, Julian and Gabrielle had this rivalry that was nasty. Like, I don't think Gabrielle rocked up to one of the presentations in Portugal one year because he thought he got ripped off or something. Like, just went, no, I'm not. Just going. It was gnarly, but everyone's pretty buddy these days, which is pretty gay, I reckon. I want to see him battle.
So you're coaching people. Are you teaching them? You want them to battle? No. No, because that's an inner thing. You can't teach that. You can't. Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? You gotta want to have.
It has
that
to happen
organically.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to coach someone just go kick
hit
sand
that
in his
guy
face before you paddle out. Like, that's unsportsmanlike. But if that's what's in you, I'll give you a little clap. but you get what I mean? There was the famous heat with John and Zeke at Bell's kind of thing, when Zeke was...
Yeah, I do remember that.
Zeke, and he was paddling circles around him. I didn't tell him to do that. I just said put pressure on him. Like, John doesn't like pressure, he loves to cruise around and do his own little la-la.
And it threw John off.
He threw him John's off. Just going to think he's going to outsurf you kind of thing. And he's so rattled him. John could have won that heat easily because he had the waves to win, but he kept falling because he was pushing so hard because he was so angry that Zeke was paddling circles around him. Like, it worked, and I didn't tell Zeke to do it. I just said put pressure on him, and just going. I came in and just going, Ross was on the stairs, like 2 stairs away from me at the thing, looking at me, just going, what have you told him to do? I was going, wow, fucking yes.
Go out there and win a heat, you told him, probably.
Oh, that's it. You get what I mean? It's like, it's eat or be eaten. It's eat or be eaten. That's like, the Brazilians showed a lot of the tour guys, like, a lot of the tour guys come, bit of a silver spoon, like the Americans and the Australian guys come through as like a, look at Adriano's story, where he grew up and how he got his first surfboard and how he grew to be a professional surfer. And, that's grinding. You get what I mean? There's no all these professional surfers these days. It's like 7 years old getting free stuff from, they've got a little bit of talent. It's crazy. They're homeschooled since it's bullshit. You know what I mean? I was Quicksilver team manager for a while, and I had to deal like all the parents. I was going, your kid needs to go to school. You need to go and get an education. 1% of professional surfers make a living out of this shit. You got to have a backup plan. So schooling's so important. You don't just throw all your eggs in this pro surfing basket, because guess what? There's a good chance it ain't going to work out. You know what I mean? It's so cutthroat and gnarly that, I was going, you need a backup plan, and then if it works out, it's professional surfing, good on you. But if it doesn't, I don't want to be that guy saying, oh, yeah, your kid's amazing, you just pull him out of school and homeschool him and you'll be right. It's like, that's bullshit.
How did you do in school?
Terrible. I left in year 11 and I didn't have a second. Like that's what I was saying. I was bloody tying leg ropes and paying houses and digging holes and doing everything to make money to travel. So I was like those Brazilian guys brought up the hard way so every heat win was like every prize money I got was for the next trip to go on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All my sponsorship came from pure results. Like they're going, oh, this kid's winning shit. We better pay him a little bit more. I wasn't that guy that's going, like Taj, for instance, he was making more money at 16 than I was when I was top 5. It's like, what? It's just, I didn't care. It was just like I had to do it the hard way. That's the hard way.
You were friends with Taj, right?
Yeah, we're good friends. Yeah.
Okay. But and you guys are from the same region, right?
Yeah, he's just down the road.
Yeah. Okay. Do you see him today?
Oh, very. I don't surf that much these days, unfortunately. Like, 9 to 5 job's pretty gnarly these days. So it's like, I'm a weekend surfer and he doesn't surf in the crowds because he doesn't have to. He's, he can surf whenever he wants. But, so I'm a bit of a weekend warrior and like a late surf here and there or an early surf here and there. But I didn't quite do as well as I was hoping in my professional with my money wise to retire happily ever after like he has. But yeah, it's all good though.
How far is the office from the water? There's no way to sneak off and get a lunch break?
Oh yeah, every now and again. Like, yeah. I mean, I'm the boss as well, so I can take a little cheeky, a little longer, thing. But I don't like doing that because it sets a bad example for the staff. But, if the waves are good enough, I'll do it. But yeah, I'm only 10 minutes away to Dunsborough's only 10 minutes to Yelling Up, so it's pretty close. So pretty lucky that way.
Your life, the first movie, Snake Tales, came out. Your life's kind of documented. You go kind of break it down through the years of your career as a pro surfer and the ups and downs of it.
Yeah. So that's the original Snake Tales. Like,
that's
it's
the
on
original
YouTube.
one, yeah.
Like the original Snake Tales is on YouTube. It's like my when I was on tour video kind of thing of the ups and downs and how hard I trained to, well, basically what I've just explained, like how hard I had to work to survive on tour.
Hard.
Like, like Taj came training with me one day and he just went, fuck that. I said, come with me. I said, come train with me. You win a world title kind of thing. He came one day running sand dunes. He goes, fuck that. And I said, well, this is what I do to survive on tour, and it is each to his own, but he had more. He didn't have to. He had the talent, so it's all good.
Yeah, and then do you have a favorite heat you surfed? I mean, you talked about pipe against Bruce. I mean, what do you have a favorite, like a sunset or a heat that you'll never forget?
Oh, there's a couple.
So many.
Oh, not so many. I've got this one heat at J Bay I surfed against Bo Emin, and it was an early round, but it was one of those heats where I didn't feel like I was in a heat. I still remember it. Like the waves were really consistent, and we're out there, and I was just feel like I surfed out of my skin kind of thing because I was just going, it's just a heat I remember. And there was this heat at Haleiwa. I had to win this heat. I had to get through this heat in the semifinals at Haleiwa. It was perfect Haleiwa, probably 8 foot. I had Kelly, Parko, and Andy.
Okay.
I had to get through this to win the QS off my good mate Richard Lovett. He hates me for it. Kelly had a 10 and got 4th.
Oh, no.
Joel had a 9.6 and got 3rd, and me and Andy got through that heat. And that heat will always, and that's on YouTube as well as an old school Snake Tales thing, so you can look up that one as well. The Sunset Heats, obviously the final, one of the finals I won at Sunset was probably the best sunset I've ever surfed. It was Taj in the final with Shane Dorian and Andy, and Andy had a 10 again and got 2nd. And I won that, and it was 8 to 10 foot, and those guys were getting crazy barrels, and my brother Ant, he'd won Sunset before, and he was kind of helping me out, and he was going, "It's low, the tide's dropping out." No, they're all sitting on the bowl trying to get barreled. Paddle around them every time, sit on the peak, get them through, and then get barreled like through the inside. So, I was the only one paddling out to the peak and getting I was getting like 4 turns on these big perfect bowls at Sunset, and I was getting like 9-point rides, and Annie had a 10 double barrel thing that was crazy, and then. He only had an 8-point backup, and I had a couple of 9s or something. It was like crazy. I'll never forget that stuff. And obviously the pipe final, but I already told you about that. I'll tell you again if you want.
Okay, actually, you brought up a good point. In the Sunset event this year, they were all sitting inside the bowl. None of them went to the outside peak. Do you think that was a mistake?
It is a mistake. No, it's a mistake because there's a risk, and the way the priority system works these days at Sunset, you get what I mean? Because if you want to go sit on the peak and someone's got priority and they're sitting halfway, they don't take the priority off you. You can drop in. So if you paddle past them, take off on the peak, the guy just drops in on you. It's pointless. So you're relying on other people, and it's a big risk sitting on the peak at Sunset because you can get caught there, and your heat's over if you get caught.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like safe sitting halfway because you paddle over for the wave you want and you get the wide ones and so on. But, you got that. The heat that I was in was like Shane Dorian, Taj and Danny. I was going, well, I need to sit on the peak. So, and a good point about that, like everyone free surfed that morning at Sunset that, I watched it from the car park just going, holy shit, Andy's getting stand-up pits on the bowl. And I so wanted to free surf. I was going, if you're going to win this event, you're going to have to be ready for 4 heats at Sunset. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, you're going to rest.
And we're running out at the final, and Shane Dorian was whinging to Andy about how he was cramping up. And I was going, yes, I've got him.
Perfect.
I've got him. And Andy was whinging about how tired he was, and I was going, I didn't have that free surf in the morning. I was ready for this moment right now. So, it's strategic. You know what I mean? I wanted to be there at the end of the day, and I thought about it and didn't let the perfect waves get in the way of me achieving what I wanted. I looked ahead, strategy. I always had a strategy.
Perfect.
So
that's a good point. That's a very good point. What about like your back-to-back wins in J Bay? How was that? And how was the second one? Did you feel like you needed to win it? J
Bay's like a game of chess. It's like suited my surfing because it's normally really slow waves. Like, you can't put one chess move wrong because it'll cost you, your heat. The first year I won it was best 3 waves in 30 minutes, which in J Bay is so gnarly. Yeah. So I was just that guy. I always rode like a little bit longer board, stuck to the face, didn't take any real risks, So most of the events I won was like that the conditions where the safe surfing kind of rewarded, like Sunset's like safe surfing. If you can do safe surfing on the face, it scores really well. If you do 2 big hacks at Sunset, you're still getting an 8, on a bigger board. Like it is what it is. I don't have to do an air at Sunset to get a big score. Don't have to do an air at J Bay to get a score. I just, my whole tactic was take off deep, fit from start to finish, make sure you're finishing every single wave, never fall off. It was just bang, bang, bang. Just did it. I was fit. I could do 3 waves in half an hour, and just grinded it away and just made, I was calculated. Like the first year I won like 4 of my heats in the last 2 minutes, but I needed that wave. I was always on the best wave, and I made sure I never fell, and it was like a calculation thing, And then the second year I won, it was best 2, and it was just, it all worked out. Like it was, I beat Taylor in the final, and he was the man to beat. He was ripping, and I got a wave in the last little bit to beat him, and it was, I don't know, it just all happened again. It was pretty special to win back to back. That's for sure.
Yeah, super rad. Now, did you have a lot of experience in J Bay, or was it all kind of a new wave for you?
No, it was kind of, I've been there before. Like, well, I'd had a bit of confidence because I really love the wave. Obviously, everyone loves going to J Bay. I mean, if you're a natural footer, it's an incredible wave. It suited my style, and I really like, as I was saying, like I rode a longer. I normally ride a 6.3 in any heat, even if it's head high, just because the speed and stuff. You do big turns and you can hold your speed with a bigger board and use a bit more rail, and you kind of lose your speed if you've got to turn your shortboard back to the pocket because you need to do a turn and keep going. But anyway, yeah, I just feel like it did really good. And so the 3 years prior to that, I lost to the guy that won the event. So I lost to Munga Barry, Parko as a wild card, and I don't know, Kelly, I think the year, whatever. And then, I won back-to-back, and then I won. I got the semi-finals a couple of times again after that, So it was always really rewarding for me in my result in Jabo.
So, yeah, I've watched those heats. It's been a little while, but I remember those heats coming down. With all your years on tour, at what point were you done, or were you trying to stay on tour?
Yeah, I was trying to stay on tour. Yeah, I was kind of a bit burnt out, and my best mate Richie had just been diagnosed with cancer in the hip bone kind of thing. So my 10-year traveling buddy had wasn't on tour, and my heart was always in it, and it didn't feel like my heart was in it. I don't blame Richie, obviously. I just was going, and I felt like I was kind of like the years before. I felt like if the conditions were right, I could challenge for a win, and that year I was kind of like grinding just to survive kind of thing. So it was a bit different mindset, and it was a bit disappointing how I didn't buckle down because I wanted to stay on tour for another couple of years or whatever. Would have been really cool. But I did, came down to pipe, and I didn't perform good enough and dropped off, and that was it.
You've served heats after.
I did a couple of QSs the year after, and again, like if your heart's not in it, like when you're that older guy and you got all these kids paddling circles around you kind of thing, you're just going, what am I doing? You go, holy shit, there's no priority back in those days in the QSs, so it was pretty harsh. So, I kind of like just went, I think it's time to wrap it. But Quicksilver were lucky enough, or I was lucky enough to get a wild card into the Snapper event, which they sponsored that next year after I dropped out, and ended up beating Andy in the 33rd round. So, our head-to-head ratio, I went one up on Andy for our career. Was like 9 wins over his 8 to it, so
perfect.
It was, I think I had the best winning record out of anyone on tour over Andy. It was like crazy. Even Kelly. Oh. It was crazy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a stat for you. But,
that's a rat stat.
Yeah.
And then in coaching, do you have a favorite heat that you watched one of your guys or gals, even Stephanie or whoever else you're coaching, that you were like, maybe a come behind or something?
Oh,
it's too many.
There's too many, but I've already mentioned the US Open final when that comes to
there you go.
The pinnacle, and US Open, Huntington, so many things can go wrong along the way. If you get what I mean, it's like Huntington's not like the best surfer always wins. It's like you miss away by 1 foot and you lose the heat or you didn't read the reform or something like that, and one heat you're gone. You get what I mean? So for both those guys to make the final, and then I think the best day of my coaching career was like when Steph and Kanoa both won Bali Karamis. That was just insane. Like, Steph surfed out of her skin, that she got a 10-point in the final, and Kanoa was just his first win. It was just like, everything peaked for them both kind of thing. And I felt like, we're on such a vibe. We're having these chocolate desserts every night at the restaurant. It was going, we got to keep it going because we're on fire, you guys.
Yes.
Just every night we're doing this same thing to make sure that, we had this good vibe coming in the next day. And
that's funny.
Yeah, superstitions, some people believe in them, some people don't, but it can't hurt, can it?
No, it can't hurt. Okay, when you came on tour, what was the lifestyle and the guys that are getting older, and you were, as you said a little while ago, when you're the older guy and the young kids are coming up, there's a different vibe. How was it when you came as a kid? Were you giving the old guys shit?
Oh, no way. Those guys were assholes. Barton Lynch and Dummer and all those guys, they wouldn't even talk to you. It was as you were saying about we were talking about the rivalry back in the days. Those guys, like the young kids, they were just like, these little punks. They didn't even acknowledge it. They looked straight through you in heats. Like, it was gnarly. It was like, holy shit! I had a fight with Simon Law my first year on tour. It's like, holy shit, because I didn't give way to him on this, this heat in Newcastle. I was going, fuck you! Who the fuck do you think you are? Fuck, I want the wave just as much as you. And he's going, fucking little fucking punk. And I was going, fuck you. We ended up having this whole big battle. And I was going, and me and Simon Law are the best of friends ever now. But, that's just how it was back in those days. It was gnarly. And as I was saying, like, only a couple of years before that, I watched Gurr and Potts going for it. So it's like gnarly. The top 16 guys were so like, I'll say it, arrogant. They were so gnarly. But that's professional surfing. You know what I mean? It's such an individual sport, and it's like, that's how your confidence rolls of like winning heats is like going, this guy, I should be wiping the floor with this young kid, and that's confidence level, and I get it now. But back then I was going, fucking hell. It was gnarly. It's nothing like that these days. The young kids coming in are like, doing 10-foot airs and whirly birds and shit. You just, it's a whole different world.
Okay. Actually, one question I just thought of. Now these kids are, well, not so much today, but back in a few years ago, they were on teams, Quicksilver, Billabong, whatever, and they're all friends because of their sponsorship. Did that affect surfing? Do you think at all, in a negative or positive way? No. I think that's just every. You look at the F1 teams, the Red Bull guys, they still bump fenders every now and again, don't they? Like, what I mean? Yeah, that's true. They're first and second, they bump fenders. It's like, when they're competing, it is. But when your teammates are doing photos and stuff, you're all friends. It's like, it is what it is. It's just the way of the world kind of thing. But when the jersey goes on, it doesn't matter what sticker you got on the front of your board. It's survival.
It's eat or be eaten. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. How did you get the name Jake the Snake Paterson?
Well, my older brother's called Ant-Man. When we were growing up in our small little town of Cottesloe in Perth, we're part of the Cottesloe board riders. And, my older brother, by a million times better surfer than I ever was, but he just never had the push and drive the competitiveness that I have. So he could have been a pro surfer, I reckon, if he had the same push that I had when he was probably just 2 years a little bit too early kind of thing. Like, he was the superstar as a kid, he was beating Mickey Wood back in the day and all that kind of stuff. But then, he didn't have the push, and then did a chef apprenticeship when he should have been out competing like I did, a couple of years later. So, it was a bit unfortunate for him, but I don't think he was as competitive as I was, because I was ready to cut off my left nut to be a pro surfer. But, so he was Ant-Man, and my younger brother's called Flea Man because he was smaller than Ant, and then I was Jake the Snake, so it was like, all animals, and we're all part of the Cottesloe board riders, and it was just like, that's how it all came about, so we're all just, ant, snake and flea kind of thing, that's how we were known growing up, so.
That's right. Okay, so your other brother, Ant-Man, right? He charges huge waves.
Yeah, he's won Sunset. He won, and he's got second in the Eddie, and he's done really well on the big wave tour and stuff like that. He's Ant-Man that's like loves charging 50-foot waves. Good on him. I fucking hated that shit. I didn't hate it. I like the big waves, but like not that level. Like, that's a whole nother craziness. Like those guys are a few twisties short of the pack for sure.
Is he still
like
charging?
Kyle Lenny and those guys, are you kidding? They're just like Shane Doyle and those guys. What are they doing? Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
It's crazy shit.
That's insane.
Billy Kemper, those guys are crazy, mate. Whole nother level. A whole nother respect for all those guys that do all that shit, because it's, now the jet skis have been all put away and it's all paddle for the big wave stuff. It's unbelievable. Hats off to all those guys. It's unbelievable.
With that being said, real quick, what do you think of how the WSL, how they've reformatted and so forth? Are you for it, against it, or what's your thoughts?
Well,
and it's always reformatted over since you started. You said 3 waves, 30 minutes. I mean, it always changes.
Yeah. I mean, I sat on the back in my day with the ASP board for 10 years, and back when I was on tour, it was a flawed system because the surfers owned half the tour and the events owned the other half of the the ASP. That's a flawed system. Oh, yeah, the surfers want more prize money. The events go, no, I don't think so. It's like, you know what I mean? How does that work? So I'm all about the tour. They've done, I don't know how many years they've done as the WSL, but it's been a few now. And if it's still not working, they need to try something. You get what I mean? It's like if they don't have a major sponsor willing to put in however much dollars it is to run the tour, they need to do something to try and attract more audience or something to make it work. Because, I love pro surfing, and I sat on the board because I love pro surfing to build it to a better. I was one of the instigators with Greville Mitchell of the WPS, the Surfers Association, to have a voice, like a one voice to make surfing better for the athletes. So if it's not working, they need to try something. So I'm happy for them to try this 1 day thing at the end of the year. I don't believe that the cut's the right thing to do mid-year, because that's just you make the tour and you don't get to surf half the tour. It's like, Jesus, that's pretty brutal. It's hard enough to get onto tour, let alone surf 4 events and then go, oh, thanks for coming, mate, you're off. Because once you're on it for the first time, you get the harder seats, you get the top guys. It's like, fucking hell. What more do you want from me? But what I'd love to see the WSL do is make the final event 2 days, and everyone gets best of 3 for the top 5. Because you stub your toe on the way down to Trestles, you're surfing first heat in the morning, you got a broken toe, you just finished 5th in the world, but guess what? You can't compete. That's it. Your whole year's done. Yeah. You're not even going to, there's one, you got 30 minutes to go from 5th to 4th or whatever. Why wouldn't it be best 3 out of best 3, heats to at least give you a crack to get to the next spot up in the tour, and so they can run, 1 day of 2 heats, 2 rounds of those heats for the bottom, 3 and 4. And then the final day is still going to crown that 1 day, it's still going to crown you world champion. But, you got to surf a lot of heats. Who gives a shit? People want to see it.
Well, that's why we're here on the beach sitting watching. With that being said, did you think last year's was a success with that format?
Sure. It was exciting. And
it was exciting, right?
I mean, the time differences are so fucked for here. I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning with my eyes wide open, just going, fuck, so excited to see what happened, because it was incredible. It's going to be upsetting, for one of these days that someone's going to come along, like a Gabby or someone, wins 6 or 7 events in 1 year and then not win the world title, because every other sport in the world, you go around the world and you surf, you do all those events, F1, tennis, everything, you go around in all these different formats, all these different surfaces, all these different places. And you got to perform in all of them to be the pinnacle of the sport kind of thing. But then you have one bad hour in your life, and you've smashed these guys by 5,000 points on the whole tour, and then you have one bad hour, and guess what? You're second in the world instead of first, and that's kind of upsetting. The first year it happened because the number ones both won. It kind of worked out, but
it did. Do you think they should keep it at Trestles, or should they move the wave to a more like a heavier wave, maybe? At the end of the year,
what do people? I don't know. What I'd love to see is maybe a best of 3 final series to go from Trestles to
like a triple crown,
maybe wave pool, and then maybe to somewhere heavier. So it's like a 3 event for the best top 5. Why wouldn't they do that? I mean, over 2 or 3 weeks or something, that'd be sick, exciting, because Trestles is the high performance wave. I want to see it. No doubt, because I reckon there's no hiding at Trestles. It's like, all your floors are put out to dry. If you're bogging around at Trestles, you're not going to survive. The end of the tour at Pipe was such a It's our sport. It's our sport, isn't it? The guy that charges Pipe or wins his backdoor wave comes. That's how I made top 10 in the first year of my tour. It's like, fucking hell, it's never going to change, but. Yeah, a mix-up would be so sick. They can do some magic stuff if they want to.
with technology and knowing what the swell's going, they can go to different places. They can be spontaneous too, actually.
Well, it's 10 people. Why don't they have a private jet and just go, guess what? We're going to Porto Escondido because there's a swell hitting. Let's go. We're gonna decide the world title there.
Dude, how sick would that be?
Throw the judges and just, you've got to base yourself out of California or base yourself somewhere, and we're just going to go from there. We're going to decide where in the world permits and stuff is pretty gnarly, but,
It's a 1 day or 2 day event. They can probably get it.
Yeah, but like you can be on hold somewhere else and just have permits locked away for 3 or 4 spots in the world and go, it could be here. Have all your boards ready for everywhere. How excited would that be?
I'm not going to say any names. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but some guys are going to do better at lowers than they are at Porto. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So the world champ could change instantly wherever that airplane goes.
Oh, it's Philippe's world title to lose right now. But if you're on a plane at the tarmac going, the world title's going to be decided at Chopu for the top 5, guess what? He goes from the number 1 favorite to probably the least.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Imagine not knowing where it's going to be at.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That expectation, that
possibilities.
That's exciting. And if nothing turns up, off to the wave pool. Who gives a shit?
Okay. What's your thoughts on wave pool since you brought that up?
Oh, I reckon it's incredible.
Have you surfed one?
No, I haven't.
Never?
I've been to Kelly's wave pool 5 times, coaching and stuff. Never had a wave there. So
no
heavy.
Way.
Yeah.
Really?
No, brutal.
That sucks.
But I go there coaching and stuff, and every wave there's a premium. I can't take a wave off one of my guys who's practicing for for their heats kind of thing. I've never been there as a fun trip.
Oh, bummer.
Kelly said he said I could go and have a day there.
He owes you one.
Well, he just goes, it's unbelievable. You've been there and you haven't had a wave. He's going, anytime you want to go. He's really cool about it. But it's just one of those things. I didn't want to ever be that guy. It's okay. I see guys taking waves off their coaches, off their athletes, and go, whoa, it's pretty heavy.
You're a nice guy, super nice.
I'm just dedicated.
You're there for work.
I do, and I put in hours. I loved it,
And then free surf. I mean, so we talked a lot about contest. What's your thought on just free surfing, or even free surfers getting paid to free surf?
Oh, it's sick. I mean, any way to make a living out of surfing is unreal. I mean,
there you go.
There's a lot of people don't like to watch competitive surfing, so they love the Dave Rastoviches of the world, the alternate, the Asher Paceys of these days that ride alternative equipment and go, he's having just as much fun as the guy winning the world title. The best surfer in the world is the guy having the most fun, and everyone's different. You're different to me. What floats your boat's completely different to me. I just personally love competitive surfing. It's just that's who I am. I grew up on it, and there's a local guy, Jay Davies. I'm sure you know of him. He is one of the best surfers in the world. I've seen him do 10-foot airs, get barreled the best waves in the world. Unbelievable surfer. He can't compete to save his life.
Yeah,
I try to help him, and he just can't. And that's just him. It's just
That's funny.
You know what I mean? It's Dane Reynolds. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? Dane, he felt bad about the guy he beat. It's what? What do you mean? He didn't want to beat the guy. He never wanted to win an event because he didn't want to. He'd be embarrassed to be carried up the beach. It's
oh no, yeah.
It's just
Dane's a different.
Yeah, but that's just Dane. You know what I mean? It's just a different human. He just doesn't. He's not competitive. I'm competitive with everything. That's why I'm a golfer. I love golf. You'll never win golf.
Okay. Yeah, I don't get the golf thing, but okay, that's good. I mean, so you're just hyper. Is everything competitive in your life? Even your business, sunblock. You're here to be the best. It sounds like
100%.
Or try to be.
Well, definitely. I'm competitive of how we do our stuff. We have a recycling program.
Perfect.
Bring all my stuff to what I feel like is the best. It's my vision. That's just me. It's what I think. It might not be someone else's vision of the best, but I can only just do the best I can, and that's what I feel like. we have to have virgin plastic because it's a medical grade substance that we're using. So, but
makes sense.
we put a whole lot of effort into recycling those bottles. We ask for them back, and we'll recycle. We'll make these cool plastic combs and shit out of recycled plastic. It's like, we're trying to give back, and all our formulas are reef safe and all that stuff. So we're trying to do it all as good as we can. It's not easy too. The TGA and all that shit is just so gnarly.
Yeah, regulation. I mean, probably just like, yeah. All right, Jake. I mean, thank you so much for doing this. Is there anything we're missing here? Do you have any final words?
Oh, dude, we covered everything. Do you want to tell the pipe story again?
You're the best, dude.
I'll tell everyone who wants to listen. Nah, all good. No, we touched base on everything, mate. Like, as I said, you're the best. I love it. Like, everyone that's having a good time surfing it's a great sport. Get into it.
Get into it. And there's still a little. Well, okay, that's a different day. All right. Okay, Jake. Yeah, it's a little crowded now, is what I was going to say, but it's okay.
No, it is.
Right.
But there's always that other spot. You can always go for a less performance wave, and you're going to have better fun because you're getting more waves. And just do that. Ride alternate equipment. Like, I call them smile boards. You know what I mean? That twin fin or that single fin or the, whatever floats your boat. It's a smile board. You're doing these cruisy little different lines, different turns, and put a smile on your face. Just do that every now and again. It's like get your, instead of that trestle session with 60 guys out that just, go, why did I bother? But, go surf the beach break next to it on a twin fin and do a couple of spinners and you come in smiling.
Yeah, you do. All right, Jake, Mr. Jake, the Snake Paterson, I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time out and being on the QuiverCast.
It's been a pleasure, Mike.
All right. This is Mike and Jake, and we're out of here.
You.
100 foot out choke food, 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out choke food, 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. Your boo on my didgeridoo. They calling me dude, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop. She grabbing a hold of my leggy. They jelly, they Gucci my weddy. The friends of Giuseppe, the chain is so heavy, she think that I'm charging the Eddie. 100 foot out choke food, 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out choke food, 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. Surf trap, I'm stacking that money. Cash, more shorts, a red Ferrari. He start to calling me Dundee. Diamonds are surfing McFlurry. She want me to teach her to surf. Splash, I'm pulling up, ripping the verse. I'm leaving these kooks in the hearse. They get moved 100 foot on their head, they get work. 100 foot out choke food, 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out choke food, 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. You calling me dude, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. They calling me dude, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop.
Hey, you guys, Endless Summer box set. This thing is legit. It's authentic, numbered certificate in it. It has a 5-frame film strip from the original print. You will literally own a piece of history. It has a specially minted bronze medallion. Dude, that thing's sick. Okay, there's so much more here. Go to the show notes. There's a link on there. Go check this piece of history out. This thing's rad. Seriously. Smithsonian American History Museum has it. It took 4 years of research with 3.5 in production, all hand assembled. This thing's rad. So much to this awesome box set. Remastered DVD, sharper images than the original film, but dude, this thing's so sick. Link in the show notes.